I almost bought Bitcoin the day before it crashed, and that moment changed the way I see money forever. I didn't lose money that day, but what I discovered right after is the real reason most beginners fail with Bitcoin. And if you don't understand this, you'll probably make the same mistake I almost did. I remember the exact moment. I was sitting in my room, phone in my hand, watching Bitcoin go up and up and up. Everyone online looked like they were winning, people younger than me, making money while doing nothing. And me, I was just watching, thinking, am I already too late? That question messed with my head more than I expected, because it wasn't really about Bitcoin. It was about feeling like I was missing something, like the game had already started, and I wasn't invited. Then something happened. Bitcoin dropped hard, and suddenly all those easy money voices disappeared. No screenshots, no hype, just silence. That's when I realized something uncomfortable. Nobody tells you what to do when things go down, and that's exactly where most beginners lose money. Not when Bitcoin goes up, but when it doesn't. I didn't buy that day. Not because I was smart, but because I was scared. And I hate admitting that, because part of me still wonders, what if I had just done it? But here's the truth I didn't want to face. I wasn't ready to invest. Not emotionally, not mentally, not even financially. I wasn't thinking about personal finance. I was thinking about fast money. And maybe you felt that too. You open an app, see Bitcoin moving, and your brain starts doing this weird thing. If I just put a little, maybe it turns into a lot. But you don't think about what happens if it drops. You don't think about how you'll react. I didn't either. That's when I started asking myself something different. Not, how do I make money with Bitcoin, but why do I even want to invest in the first place? That question slowed everything down, because investing isn't just numbers, it's behavior, it's patience, it's how you react when things don't go your way. And Bitcoin makes that very obvious. So before I ever bought my first Bitcoin, I had to fix something way more important than my strategy. I started small, really small, an amount that, if I lost it, wouldn't change my life. And that decision changed everything, because now I wasn't chasing profits. I was observing myself. I watched how I felt when Bitcoin went up, excited, checking the price every few minutes, already thinking I was getting it. Then it dropped, and suddenly, I didn't feel like an investor anymore. I felt like someone who made a mistake. That emotional swing, that's what destroys beginners, not lack of knowledge. Because here's the thing, nobody tells you clearly. Bitcoin isn't just volatile in price, it's volatile in your mind. If your personal finances aren't stable, Bitcoin will amplify your stress. If you invest money you actually need, you won't think clearly. You'll react, you'll panic, and that's when bad decisions happen. If you're thinking about investing in Bitcoin right now, don't start with charts, don't start with predictions, start with this. How would you feel if your money drops 30% tomorrow? Be honest, because if that thought makes you uncomfortable, you're not ready to go all in. And that's fine, actually. That's the best place to start, because what I did next is what finally made Bitcoin make sense to me. I stopped trying to time the market. That idea sounds smart, but for beginners, it's just disguised anxiety. Instead, I focused on consistency, same amount, same frequency, no drama. And something interesting happened. Bitcoin stopped feeling like a gamble. It started feeling like a process. Some days I was up, some days I wasn't. But I wasn't reacting anymore. I was just continuing. That's when I understood what personal finance really means in real life. It's not about hitting the perfect moment. It's about building something you can sustain. Even when you're bored or uncertain or doubting yourself, I still have doubts. There are days where I look at Bitcoin and think, is this even worth it? And I don't ignore that thought. I let it sit there because blind confidence is just another form of risk. But here's the part most people skip, and it's the reason they quit too early. Investing in Bitcoin didn't make me rich. It made me aware of my emotions, my impulses, my impatience. And honestly, that's more valuable than any short-term gain. Because now, I don't invest based on hype. I invest based on what I can handle. And that changes everything. If you're starting with Bitcoin, don't try to be early. Don't try to be perfect. Just try to stay. Because most people don't lose money because Bitcoin fails. They lose because they leave at the worst possible moment. And the uncomfortable truth? You won't know how you'll react until you're already in it. There was a moment that I don't usually talk about. It wasn't when I lost money. It was worse. It was when I almost sold everything. Bitcoin had dropped again, not a dramatic crash, just enough to make me uncomfortable. And I remember staring at my screen thinking, maybe this was a bad idea from the start. That thought felt logical, reasonable, and that's what made it dangerous. Because it didn't feel like panic, it felt like clarity. But something didn't sit right. So I didn't sell, not because I was confident, but because I didn't trust that version of me making the decision. And that changed something. I started noticing a pattern. Every time Bitcoin went down, my brain tried to protect me. Get out now. Avoid more loss. Be smart. But every time it went up, that same voice disappeared. That's when I realized something uncomfortable about myself. I wasn't reacting to facts, I was reacting to fear, and Bitcoin just exposed it. If you don't recognize this pattern early, you'll think you're making rational decisions when you're actually just escaping discomfort. So I did something that felt almost stupid at the time. I stopped looking at Bitcoin every day, not completely, but enough to create distance, because I realized constant attention was making me unstable. And this connects directly to personal finance in a way most people ignore. The more often you check something volatile, the more emotional your decisions become. It's like touching a wound over and over again and wondering why it doesn't heal. So I created space, and in that space, something unexpected happened. I stopped trying to control the outcome. I just followed the plan I had already decided when I was calm. And that version of me is way smarter than the emotional one. You might not notice it yet, but if you start investing in Bitcoin, there will be a version of you that wants to quit. Not loudly, not dramatically, quietly, with very convincing arguments. And if you don't prepare for that moment, you'll believe every word. That's how most people exit, not with panic, but with justification. I still feel it sometimes. That urge to do something, to adjust, to react, to outsmart the market, and I have to catch myself because movement feels like progress. But in investing, movement can be the mistake. Bitcoin didn't teach me how to predict the future. It taught me how to sit still when everything in me wants to move. And that skill applies to every part of money, not just crypto. If this video made you pause, even for a second, then don't ignore that, because most people don't fail with money. They just never stop long enough to understand what they're doing. So before you go, I want you to do something simple. Next time you open an app to check your money, don't touch anything. Just watch yourself. What you feel in that moment, that's where everything starts. If you want more videos like this, not hype, not noise, just real thinking about money, then stay here. Because I'm not here to tell you what to buy. I'm here to show you how not to lose yourself while doing it.